Yo, this is another dumbass part. My bad. Let's start this shit up.
Get your shit together, man. Get your shit
Yo. This is another dumbass podcast. It's your boy Germ Life. See?
What?
Clapping, motherfucker. You always trying to be a technical engineer. With your
I
bullshit.
don't know what you be on. Here you go, come in here with your emotions again. Go ahead.
I can't see your partner. I feel uncomfortable. Where is he at? I want to see your partner while we're doing it. There he is. I want to see.
Yeah. What's happening, bro?
Why we interview?
Yeah.
Feel like I'm there with you guys.
What's good with you, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing well, my friends. I'm doing well. I've been waiting and anxious to talk to you guys. You know, Capo's my guy. If you don't know, me and Capo have had many late night conversations high off that good ganja about all kind of life favors, life's hacks, life's theories, conspiracy theories. So I said, I know my boy Capo got something good for me if I come on here.
Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories. That's my guy. I'm talking about. He know too. Mac be telling me, y'all boys shut up. He don't get it. He don't get it.
I can't talk. He don't want me to talk when we got company.
No, you know what I'm saying? He want us to keep it real low, but I'm just telling you.
Nah, I do the conspiracy theories. I like to test my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
I'm really with the shit.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. What y'all on about the this new health kick? Y'all following the new health kick? Y'all going vegan? Y'all
elaborate on it. Tell me what you think about it.
I'm not gonna lie. I was just watching my boy Dame Dash on Club Shay Shay. Not sure if y'all familiar with Shannon Sharp Club Shay Shay.
Okay. Yeah. Watch a little bit.
He was just talking about the algorithm, right? And the algorithm of how social media, the internet and everything is set up. And he was like, and Shay was asking him, well, how do we make it cooler? Or how do we make it where people feel more comfortable trying to go vegan? Because I've tried going vegan. Honestly, that's how I had my son. We went vegan for about 6 months. We were trying, couldn't work. Went vegan for about 6 months. Boom, here he comes. So, but long story short, Dame was just talking about the algorithm and how he was saying that basically at the end of the day, like, we got to do better on our part, because there's a lot of famous vegan athletes, famous vegan weightlifters, bodybuilders. Like, I watched the documentary and it's like, they don't push that to the forefront to make that cool. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool to be on the health kick. It's not cool to get your fresh fruit smoothies in and get your H3O2 in your system and all of that. And it's not cool to sage your house and get that bad energy out your house. And you know what I'm saying? So I was just wondering, are y'all on y'all's health kick? Have y'all been helped? Because me and my boy Country been trying to get on our health kick these last couple months, man.
You want to answer that first?
No, I think you should answer that first.
Yeah, I've been on more of a fasting.
Fasting, okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't eat till late at night, and then when I eat, I'm mostly like Subway. So it's kind of like, because I'm a truck driver, so I do like mostly bread and turkey. The most I go. So, okay. But I'm always from Sunday.
I've been doing intermittent fasting too. I like the intermittent fasting. Start my day with a good fruit smoothie, and then don't end my day until I have a good meal. But I will say I don't go fast food a lot. I cook a lot.
Right.
Cooking now.
Right.
Saying so, I for the most part try to cook every day, every night.
Yeah, and see, when I'm at home, I'm more steamed vegetables more than anything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really eat a lot of. I don't really even eat heavy. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's for sure. Capo, I already know Capo got he been off it.
Yeah,
I think he kind of said the right word at the end that I could think of right now, because I done been through a lot of transitions with everything. Food is like a whole. I could talk a whole lifetime about just food. You know what I'm saying? I ain't ate pork since 2012. No. I haven't ate pork since 2004. I haven't ate meat since 2012. But my whole outlook on food is the same as it was in 2004, 2012, or even like 5 years ago. I look at food as like energy now. Now, see, hold on. The first thing I would say in kind of reference to what you said about what food could do to you. So food does have a certain effect on you. Certain food has certain effects on certain people. Uh Everybody's different. So it's everything is gonna affect everybody different.
Right.
I would use the example of just somebody who done ate pork for 100 years still alive. Like I known it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, and then see, we in a different time now. It's 2023. Uh, land and air, land and air is so far out of the control of black people that that that, and I'm not even gonna say this to be funny, and I'm not gonna say this for nobody else to to persuade them to do what they're doing or not doing. Land and air is so far out of the power of black people. What you're eating should probably be the last thing you worried about.
What you
Cause
mean by land and air is
land and air, they if you go on, I don't know if anybody has like a Navy Federal account. If you have a Navy Federal account and you on the app, when you open the app up, it tells you uh Air Force, Navy, and now they have something called Space Force. So the government created a organization called Space Force. When you think of space, what would be the first thing that y'all would think of?
outer space.
Pretty much.
That's the first thing most people would think of. But Space Force was created for space.
Period.
Just space, period.
On the Earth.
Space. When you think about space and all the possibilities of what you think space could be, that's what they think about is space. So, like I say, just that. Like for instance, it was a comment I seen on Instagram, like yesterday, the day before, and somebody said something about black people and building communities and uh just the basics of what people have been screaming for about 60 years, right? Now think about us still talking about building a community and what I just said. People are so far behind with what they feel like the mission is supposed to be for like black people. Other people are so far along the race of humanity.
Well, when you say occupying space, what I guess my bigger question is then for not our race, but the other races, what are they doing to occupy the space? I guess if
I'm gonna
that's
give you an example, right? When black people go to do stuff, they're going to operate something that's already there. So when they go have to go do research, they're going to go again research. Research is you going to go research something. So you're going to go research something that was already put there.
we didn't discover it.
Yeah, you didn't create it. So like in the example of like Instagram and like how Boosie be, like he be screaming Instagram is not fair, this, that, and the third. Instagram wasn't created for it to be fair. Instagram was created for the people who made it for it to be for what they made it for. Now, what somebody else goes on there and does with it is some other stuff. Now, that's kind of what it gets taken and turned into. But everything is about data. That's kind of like the biggest market it is, data. I give you an example. Google has an agreement with China. Huh. And Google stores a lot of its data in China. So all of the information that people use to log in X, Y, and Z
Goes to China.
goes through China. Now, if you think about all of the stuff going on with China, how would that make sense for Google to want to do anything with storing this information in China? And all of these kind of things been lingering on for like years and stuff like that. And people are gonna be in for a rude awakening like in a couple years. And like I say,
Fix. What's the fix?
the solution,
Yeah, what's the fix? And not the I don't know. I don't want to get caught up on the black fix. What's the fix to the whole? What's the solution to this whole problem?
Unity. Because the whole thing to all this is separation. If you think about any and everything that's going on, everything is to like separate people. So it's kind of like conquer and divide. You go back to the basics of like the 48 laws of power, conquer and divide. You divide everybody, it's easy to like step on the toes and have individuals against individuals, and then you got groups against other groups. So it's all they didn't create so many small groups against so many small groups. Black people and then what they want is kind of like behind the elemental penal community, the fucking these rights, these people rights. It's just a whole bunch of other stuff that's now at the forefront of, oh, y'all don't care about these people, y'all don't care about these people. When nigga, we all people. How the fuck is it this, that, and the third? And then you start breaking stuff down into a religious sense. Like how does
That's why I asked what's the solution for the whole thing? You know what I'm saying? And then I guess I get unity, but I feel like unity
harmoniously too. So I'm not just saying like
Correction.
unity and we come together and bicker. Like you got to come together and it has to be a harmonious peace to where you can. This is what I'm saying. That's like it's kind of like if I say something to you and you a Christian and you get offended by you being a Christian, you got to throw everything out the window. Like everything has to go out the window at that point, and then you have to really just figure out what's going on.
I feel like the system and everything has been set in place for so long, and everything is so broken. It's almost impossible to fucking achieve that.
I wouldn't say that because everything can like change in one day. Like it could be something that could happen and stuff. I would give this example of what I mean. Certain people utilize certain things for certain things. And I'm gonna say this, like if you use a broadcast and you put something on the broadcast, at that very moment, it's gonna affect somebody like emotionally. Like saying a shooting happened or
I'll just say like 9/11.
yeah, it's about being able to actually reach the people, get your word out, and for people to feel it. When people feel it, then they're gonna move. You have to be emotionally moved to want to do something.
I think that's the problem.
There you go. There you go. I feel like I don't necessarily agree with this idea, but somebody said it. It was David Banner. David Banner said it. It was like our problem was like the Martin Luther Kings and the Malcolm X's, and not in the sense of they were doing wrong, but it was like our mission that we were on died with them. And I feel like we now look for, nobody's gonna make a move for all these things that you're talking about until they like. If you watch that Dear Mama Tupac documentary and look at what those Black Panthers back then, everybody was ready to die. Everybody was shooting at the police, was ready to go to war, was stepping in the hospitals and saying, "You're gonna treat us, you're gonna see us. We're not paying high end for this medicine. It's unhumane," and we lost all of that. But in the sense of what David Banner was saying, is almost like it was almost like a gift and a curse, because now that we've seen that and we know what it is, it's almost like we're waiting for that next Malcolm X or that next Martin Luther King before anybody's really going to move towards that solution that you're talking about. Nobody's really emotionally invested enough to say that I'll march down this street with this baby girl, like my man said on the Dear Mama documentary. Afeni Shakur marched down the street with a girl with sickle cell immunity 2-3 miles with just her and Lumumba Shakur marched down there and said, y'all gonna see her. They tried to pass her off like, nah, y'all gonna see her. And then, not just to be violent, said, you know what, I made a unity with some of these nurses and doctors in here and tried to figure out a solution so we can start getting our people who can't afford this medicine, who can't afford to be seen in here and in these small camps and stuff like that. But we don't have that no more. So that's why I guess when I hear what you say about the space and occupying land, but it's almost like we're not seeing anybody do it no more. So because we're not seeing it, it's almost like everybody just gonna sit on their ass. Nobody's gonna push to the forefront to say, well, we need to change this. Well, we need to own more of this. but we need a piece of this. Why isn't our data going here for black people? Why isn't our money going and staying over here for this? But it all starts with somebody getting to do it first and being emotionally invested. Like you said, it's not enough people emotionally invested in that type of movement.
And then it comes like temporarily, like
It
George
definitely
Floyd incidents, like
I was just
all
about to
these
say, or
different type of incidents is coming
the
like
shooting,
temporarily.
like you just said with the shooting. Remember the shooting in Texas, the kid with the afro, and he got suspended from the Democratic Party because he stepped up and said that he didn't agree with the gun laws. And then he was on I'm not black, but he was on Breakfast Club and everything. But that was like 2-3 weeks ago now. What are they doing about it? You know what I'm saying? It was like they blew him up, made him famous for stepping up and saying something. But now you going and doing Breakfast Club and you going and doing all of these shows and stuff. But what happened to the original reason why you got mad, which was the kids that got shot in that school? What's the solution there?
And then you know what makes this a little bit more difficult? Cause like me and Germ talk a lot off camera stuff about like some stuff we can't. I ain't even gonna say can't talk about. Like we have conversations about certain things, and some things don't make it on the podcast. And then with stuff being digital, that's kind of making things a little bit more difficult because this is where everybody is. So it's kind of like if you're not here doing it, then it doesn't exist. So with the way that they have like I say, the social media, the Instagrams, it's like you can't go to any of these places because of how they're structured.
Algorithms go right back to that. Said the way the system has been set up like this for so long, it's almost like how do you get that? How do you get to the masses? Like you said, like with broadcasts or something big outside of major shootings or something that they know is going to rock the world. It's almost like it's impossible to reach the masses for something like that. It's the same way for music now.
No,
You got
but
people buying blue checks, and it's almost impossible to reach the masses.
What you gonna say, Jern?
well, basically, it's like this to me. This is my opinion on that, right? Black people the only people that want to tell everything on camera.
That's another thing. Like, see, and these are all problems. So the first thing that Grown did was ask me what was the solution. And see, this be a big thing with me, like with individual relationships.
I'm gonna tell you the solution though. You see them other races, Indian, white, Chinese, whoever you want to call them, Mexican, everything. Would you see the difference between them and us?
There's a lot of difference.
Exactly. A lot of times, most of the people, the majority of those people, we ain't gonna say all Mexicans and all, you know what I'm saying? Because we intertwine too and blend in, like far as mating and stuff and having babies. But the majority of those people stick together.
And then, like, just on a family level, because that would be one of the things I would ask y'all.
Even if they disagree with each other in family, still stick together because it's about
and it's not aired out.
Exactly. You don't never hear nobody business aired out but ours, and most of the time we tell on ourselves.
Bruh, black people operate in such a crazy, like, again, when you do what he just said with a lot of analogies of just how black people do stuff, and then you compare it to how everything else is going on, and then you start to ask yourself, what are the biggest problems? You can see it. You can look at stuff and see it.
Africans don't do it
at all.
Yeah, so them black people, they don't do it. But I mean, you know, skin tone. Let's just break it down to skin tone because they identify with where they from or what tribe they from and everything. We don't do none of that because you don't know where you from.
This stuff gets so tricky.
That's another reason why I say about that y'all gotta watch that Tupac documentary. I feel like that's why Tupac was who he was. Because he knew where he was from. He knew his background was. He knew everything about his mother and what they stood for. The Panthers stood for.
I got a homeboy that know everything. He from Africa. Well, his daddy from Africa, so he know exactly where his background from. Even from his mama. He did it on his own. You know what I mean? And
it's hard to be. I feel like it's hard to be. I guess I don't want to say dominant, but strong. I get strong in your within your blackness without knowing your history. Like, even though you might know what your moms did, but I feel like certain people have a purpose or something that they're good at in life and really don't know why they're good at it, right? Or they got things in their genes in their blood but have no clue about it. And that's why I go back to the Tupac thing. I'm like, this man mama was a speaker, a public speaker. She represented herself in the Black Panther 31 that got arrested and tried to say they bombed Macy's, we're gonna bomb Macy's and all of that crap, represented herself. So you got that side of Tupac, then you got the other side of him where he's artistic and he knows his mother was a poet and his father was a poet and all of the things that came from him, but he understood where that came from. He knew where it came from. He knew how to be strong in that element. He knew how to operate around females. He knew how to operate around men, strong men, masculine men, cool, laid back men. I just love that documentary to see how the difference between somebody who knows their self versus somebody who's just trying to cling on to whatever the society is doing at that moment, at that time, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But then like a lot of men was around him too.
Yeah.
During that time, so
yeah,
you gotta remember, like, if you were raised different like that, they big up Shafina. I mean, his mama. Like, I really big her up too, cause we all big up our mamas. Like, that's the first thing. But Tupac had to be designed by men too, especially his daddy coming from there. They just never mentioned him.
That's what I was about to say.
You see what I'm saying?
His daddy and that whole Black Panther.
But think about this. Why would they not mention him? Because they want you to think a strong woman did that for a man.
Yep. And then again, bro, that kind of goes back to something we were recently talking about, and I asked everybody what was the biggest problem in the black community. I said the black woman. The black woman is the biggest problem. Now,
I wouldn't say that's the problem, though, bro.
That's my opinion.
No, I understand. I'm just
and I gave facts behind my opinion, so it's not really just an opinion. It's opinion based on facts in what's going on. But one of the notes that I took with, like, for black people, the present culture is represented in music. Like, music represents the culture. So for, like, other races, music doesn't represent their culture. Now, with the way music is now, and then the way music has always been, just the different, but that's the thing too. Our music ain't necessarily even controlled by us.
That's why it's like, when you think about the laws of the land, right? We the only land over here. Even if we was just call ourselves South Carolinians, we come from that land of South Carolina. Nigerians say they're Nigeria. It's only what other country is divided into states? None, right?
Colonialism.
Yeah, so it was a design thing for the United States to be like that. You gotta think, it was slavery, then we graduated from slavery to Martin Luther King. Then you talking about Martin Luther King to the beginning of the rap era when everybody was stop the violence and all that, because people seem to forget about that era of rap. You know what I mean? When they had to stop the violence and all the African movies like X-Clan, KRS-One, everybody forget about that movement of the hip-hop. So my thing is, like, after that came the gangster rap.
Yeah.
And once the gangster rap kicked in, like,
see, this is where they
got removed.
They took more control over, like, they were taking more and more control over the music.
It's really just slavery all over again. It's just you came from the chains to the mind bind.
And I would look at it like, it's kind of like another example, like the roles.
Before you go to that, I need to go back to why you think the black woman is the number one problem.
Because what I said with the unity, look, with the unity, right? If our main thing is that we don't stick together. Now, the thing before that is the man and the woman. 80% of marriages filed for divorce are filed by the woman. Mm-hmm. Now you have this whole independent, boss, bad, all of these different groups of women that represent independency. By myself, I don't need a man. Men are not saying we don't need women. Men are trying to find women, and real men are trying to find wives. So we're trying to bring it together while the whole time women don't want to be with men. And this started at the time when black male employment went up and women start taking the welfare checks, kicking the men out the home.
And that was back.
And who's raising the children? Who's raising the children,
bro?
What
year was that when the welfare and all that stuff?
This is all in the 60s and shit.
Exactly. So it started from the 60s.
I was just getting ready to say. Yeah. Now let me ask you, who is that? The black woman's fault?
Yeah, they're making these decisions.
Is it because at the time? Because look now, the women that we're trying to talk to, like you said, now in 2023. Those women that you're talking about in the 60s and 70s, those are their parents. So those are their moms that
or their grandparents.
This is where you first get indoctrinated by your parents. This is the first form of indoctrination. So no matter whether your parents do it or whether the doctors do it, the teachers do it, it's kind of like it is what it is.
Okay. But I kind of feel like it's almost like we can't blame the modern day now black woman on their mindset of how their mothers had to raise them in an era, in a time where shit was pretty fucked up for not only just women, but black women for sure.
It's really for the men, because you got to think the crack era came through everything.
The crack, and then you had the crack epidemic.
How y'all forget that?
That's what I was about to say. Like, you have so many black men that were taken out of the home, and women and black women had to be raised to believe think that we don't need a man.
And then some of them had to choose to get a welfare check too.
You get what I'm saying? So I feel like now we're seeing the effects of that in the daughters. The daughters don't even know it. They're consciously saying they don't need a man because they watch their mom raise them alone.
You're right.
And
I agree.
And I don't think it's fair to put that on them. You know what I mean? Like, it's a conscious thing, but anything can become consciously done after years and years of programming.
Decades, you talking about decades.
This is what I asked Tim Grown. This is what I asked Germ. I asked Germ, like, and this is as a man thing, bro. I'm talking about like men and women. So when you talk about men and women and then you start to break it down even more, you start to go into black women. But just as a man, period, if you have a problem going on, you're going to do something about it, right? And again, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that whatever the results are from whatever. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, what's up with the accountability? What's up with right now? I'm not saying nothing about none of that other stuff. I'm saying what's up with right now. Just like I would just use myself an example. I have gone through stuff, but whatever I have went through is what I went through. I can't place the blame on this, that, and the third. It is what it is. You're going to fix it or not. We're grown now. So anybody 23, bro, anybody 18, it's no excuse to be using that age or nothing. You can go and pick up your phone and go, bro. Children, kids, teenagers, adults now have more access to information than they did then. So age and young and what you were taught, all of these things are just excuses for why somebody is doing what they're doing. We can't leave this on the table for people to just want to use as an excuse. So what I'm saying is, this is what it is, and these are issues that we have to fix. Just as like women and men, because we got to create more families. When we create more families and we come together in that sense, then everything else will start falling in place.
That makes sense. I guess I just was more looking for the explanation, I guess, for why you felt that way. But I completely understand where you're coming from. You're more so coming from this standpoint of, yeah, I understand what you went through, but where's your accountability? You don't. And I can agree with that there's not a lot of accountability. But that's again, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's up in the air for discussion too, because I feel like again, when you've been programmed so long,
Mm-hmm.
believe a certain thing in there. I honestly believe in a lot of women's mind, they don't believe they're wrong.
Right. You see what you see?
Oh, you know
That's
that. You know that.
See, it's a whole process to this. These are the things that we have to do before you even get into what I'm saying. You kind of have to start backtracking a little bit first. Then you have to take accountability and let's see things for what it really is, and then you start going into all that kind of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's so many layers to that shit.
So what as men, what we gonna do?
That's what I'm saying.
We gotta
Glorify.
glorify.
We can listen. We can go ahead and say all that, right? All that I just said about women. But if they don't see that in a man, you think they gonna run to a man that's just gonna cry like them, or gonna sit in the mirror and get dressed just as fly as them? Take 2 hours to get dressed and shit like that. Cause we got a lot of dudes like that out here right now. We got a lot of dudes that rather have a pistol run around here and hang with niggas and shoot. So no. This is real. This is real. You got to think about it. If you got these boys out here that run around and would rather shoot at people with guns and wave guns on videos and shit like that, all the crazy shit, you want a woman to go get one of those people.
Let me clarify what I'm saying, because I like when Germ does this and challenges what I'm saying. So let me clarify again in depth with what I'm saying. What me talking about women is not me excluding men. When I talk about men and women coming together, I'm talking about real men. Right. Real men do real things.
Well,
I'm not talking. Look, it's like a separation. So what you explained was like niggas and little boys, and it's a difference between.
What's the population of them though, as far as real men and niggas right now? Tell me.
And it's
shit. It's more men. And this is the reason, because what makes a man, Germ?
A provider.
Right. So the first thing he said was a provider, right? More than 50% of black men earn more than the median average in this country.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm just going off of numbers, bro. Mm-hmm. So that technically shows that now the median average for just a woman in this country is $23,000. So you start putting black women into that, come on, we can do the numbers. So yes, it's more real men than it is real women. So in the sense of just like, yeah, everybody has work to do. It's little boys, it's niggas, it's bitches, it's all these different categories of men and women. Yeah. But I'm talking about the real men and women. These are the people that have to put each other on the forefront and spotlight. We have to spotlight these things and not glorify the other stuff that's bringing the problems.
Right.
Well, we got 1 minute left, so let me say this before we go to the next 30. Mm-hmm. I want to say what Germ is saying, what I agree is the problem is too, those boys and niggas and thug all that y'all are talking about, they're coming from that generation too.
Exactly, bro, because they was raised with their mama.
Yeah,
that's
what I keep saying. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I kept telling them.
It's almost like you can't blame them.
It's not, because they single mamas. Yeah, and they go into the projects like you saying, like, and even like what they'll do is like, okay, he might be doing something. This dude might be actually doing something, but because they be around a whole bunch of, it's the dynamic of the girl, right? If the girl is a girl that want to be single, and she hang around single people and y'all together, she gonna gravitate to him.
Exactly.
That's how most females think. So they mostly, like he said, and I agree with Capo, they mostly break up the home, but then when they follow, they keep going back. Oh, shit. All right. Stop it right there. You gotta stop it then.
No, I'm gonna let it play here, cut it off.
All right. Well, hold up. Wait. How long is it gonna take him to do that? Ain't gonna take too long.
The Zoom had just cut off. I just kind of let everything keep going. So whenever you do whatever you do, all you got to do is just chop it up. Because I had to make 2 30-minute Zooms because the thing ain't on. Yeah, the screen record's still on. I'm just waiting for him to come back on, and then when Germ come back.
All right.
I got everything. You can hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah. He'll go Germ. I was waiting for Germ to come back.
All right. Yeah, you good. Come on.
Now, what you were saying, Germ? What you said before the thing had cut on?
About what you talking about?
The last thing that you mentioned for the thing cut off.
Oh, we was talking about-
Your thing on grown?
Yeah, hold on. My bad. I was talking to my son. Hold on.
All
Let me
right.
turn my video back on. All right, there we go.
All right.
All right, I'll check it out. See. All right. But yeah, what was you saying now?
Close it off. No, I was saying for Germ to mention the last thing he said before the video cut off.
We were just talking about that generation that this has been programmed for a while now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they took it off of there. You gotta think about the radio station, bro. Like when back in the day, during the late '80s, bro, you heard a lot of until like probably about 1990, maybe 1991 at the most. You heard a lot of pro back stuff at rapping. Queen Latifah, X Clan, like I said earlier, like Public Enemy. It was a lot of different people that was promoting unity. If that message would have kept getting out there to these years right now, it'd have been like that. But they ain't wanted that. I think the United States is programmed to be like this, bro, because it's been going on too long.
Program. What you said?
Program. Programmed for so long. It's
Yeah.
almost. It goes back to the very, very first topic that we touched. There's no way to reach that unity to me. The only way to reach that unity, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, is the conversation I had with my mans. The only way to successfully reach that unity is to completely forget about anybody 10 and above.
10 and above? Elaborate on that. Where you came up with that?
He talking about age.
Yeah, I know he's talking about age. That's what I know he's talking about, but I'm just talking about, like, why would you say that?
I believe after about 6 or 7, they say, I think it's like 6 years old, you pretty much become
who you are.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I feel like by 10, you start getting into middle school, you start talking to girls, you start getting influenced by social media, phones, things influence you by that time. Yeah. So I feel like 10 and younger, that's who you need to be talking to about finances. That's who you need to be talking to about owning things. That's who you need to be starting bank accounts for. That's who you need to be talking to about.
Okay, so is this about financial stability or your lifestyle, or are you talking about unity as a people? No, I wouldn't say that, bro, because just think about the simple things. Like, we don't even think about the simple things. Look at the black people in Africa, right? Let's just go back to that. If you see them out there.
You been to Africa?
No, I just probably watch a lot of TV. But when I see that, right, I don't never see them with shoes on, bro.
Okay. Very true.
So that means like a lot of your skin and a lot of the earth is connected to that. So how would you know your spirituality if you ain't connected to the actual place that you come from?
That's very true. But at the end of the day, my son right now is 4 years old. He didn't come from Africa. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia.
We going to spirituality now and unity. We talking about unity and spirituality.
Now understand.
That's what we talking about now.
But just understand this now.
Okay.
I can't go to him and explain to him something that I don't know.
I agree,
I can give him the knowledge that I know.
What you talking about? What kind of knowledge are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about food, right?
Right.
And the type of food you put in your body, intermittent fasting. My mother didn't know that.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I
just had to teach my mother about gerrymandering. My mom didn't know what gerrymandering was.
But you got to think about what generation our mama came from. Exactly. So yeah, like that's a different thing.
How we break that system.
No, I think the United States, bro. Like, think about it in the whole, bro. Think about the slavery. How they break down history. Think about the slavery, right? They was separating the homes.
Yeah.
They was breeding the people to be what they wanted to be. Okay, after that, we'll just go to the Martin Luther King, one of them boys, like have you ever seen the Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence movie Life?
Yep.
Okay, so you remember back in the day they was bootlegging running liquor. Only niggas that was saved was niggas that was up north.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The rest of them boys down south, they get, some of them was half free, but it was a system. So whenever they feel like busting them, they'll bust them. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Back in the day, doing that same police that end up killing. I guess that people they had a connection with the dude which kind of them got blamed for killing.
Yeah.
Because he was snitching on niggas.
Yeah.
So snitching been going on since then.
That's all of that is understandable, but see what you're talking about.
That ain't a system though.
No, it is a system, but these are things that adults go through.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying though. So as far as the separation, we talk about the separation right now. It's going through that. Like, okay, now we'll go to like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King when you were saying like, okay, even now y'all gotta remember now what it was in Oklahoma they had the black first city
Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street. So guess what? What they did to that? They blew it up because it was unified. It was people on the same wavelength.
You're saying all of the right things. Like you're saying everything that I agree with. And this is what I'm trying to say. And I guess my son, by the time he's 10, should know everything you just said.
And which is true. And we should know the teaching.
And your children should know everything you just. And then my man's children should know everything you just. And then his man's children should know. And so when they get older, that's how the unity begins. I genuinely believe trying to bestow the things that we're saying now on grown ear. Prime example, Capo, I love Mac to death. No Mac, love my boy to death, been working with him forever. But I had a conversation with Mac one day. He came to the studio. Just a long story short, there's this institute called the Monroe Institute in Virginia. Yeah. And it's about hemisync with your brain and being able to astral project in your sleep. They teach you and they build you on how to do that.
Like that. Astral project.
Astral projection.
Damn.
So did you see the document that was released by the CIA where the general went through this with the military? Y'all might need to look that up. It's a 26-page document. The general went through this with the military soldiers and successfully did it, but they were trying to use it they were trying to weaponize it. Basically being able to mentally put themselves in a meditational sync with their brain to be able to astral project at any time, not just when they're sleeping.
And what is actually astral projecting? What is really that? What's that?
Because leaving your physically, not leaving your physical.
And going where?
Boundless.
Like that was what boundless mean? I'm saying like you would be going like where like
goes back to what he was saying with space. Space is out there. There's no empty space anywhere in existence.
It's space. This is what everything is. Everything is space.
You leave this boundless body. When you leave this body, you are bound to nothing. You can touch any piece of space you want to. The 1600s to 2055. Okay. There's no front and back. There's no left and right. There's wherever you want to go when you astral project.
So what would you see though? I'm saying it gotta be. If you can do it, then there's gotta be multiple people that can do it.
Okay, there are multiple people, but they say most monks can do this easily. Okay. Most monks can do it, but they say, like prime example, Black Panther. When you die, and you hear this multiple times, and not just in the African world, but about the ancestral plane.
Oh yeah.
And you see, this is a real place where you can really go see ancestors that have passed on. There are real people that I'm telling you, like I went down that rabbit hole of looking up the Monroe Institute. There are real people that have said, like, I've had conversations with people that were not born yet in my family. I've had conversations with people who passed away and told me things, where to go find things. That I'm telling you, this is what the military was trying to use. You can access knowledge through this. I'm telling when we leave this conversation, hemisync, Google and YouTube hemisync. They say when we go to sleep, if you play, and I just know this as an engineer, if you play a frequency of 100 hertz in this ear and play a frequency of 104 hertz in this ear, while you're sleeping, your brain is not going to understand why one side is hearing one frequency and the other side is hearing another frequency, and it's going to balance it out in the middle. They say when that balance happens, your chakra, your whole body vibrates with the earth and the whole universe at the same exact time. Your brain, your blood, everything pumps at the same time as the universe.
Like that.
You know what's crazy? This whole time, like kind of like what he just said, like the example of the information that he's came across, right? You have people that are all these different religions, right? Like let's kind of bring it to this time. You have all these different kind of people that are these different kind of religions. Nobody created any of these religions that
At all.
believe in these religions, right? Now, these people at some point have been convinced so much that this is what they should believe in. Now, I'm saying this because, again, it's different religions. So it's different people who have been convinced of different things. So with the information that he's saying, he's came across it and it's explaining to him of how powerful you as an individual could be.
As an individual,
right? So this is kind of like, if you put that in the context of like just power, you're taking these are the things that what I'm saying, like you can't have conversations because of a religion that divides people, that you can explain something to somebody about something that they could possibly be capable of doing, and the conversation can't exist because people are separated.
There you go. And that goes back to what I was trying to say about Mac. I tried to have that conversation with Mac, and he was like, man, Green don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah, you know he don't.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying.
Like,
some people don't even put that in. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We laughed it off, but I'm just like, that goes back to what I was saying about trying to put those kind of, like, you see how both of y'all were very in tune with what I was talking about just now. I was like, you know what? Okay, all right, let me check that out. Most people are going to be like, Mac, man, look, man, I ain't looking that shit up.
I just told a couple about the 85% though.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I go back to saying 10 and under. They are very much still influenced by what we have to say, to do, to put in front of them. You can't go to a 25-year-old or 20-year-old that's, like you said, running around with sticks and stuff and tell him, yo, I think we should go to this small area. They got a small duplex here, and they got a small pharmacy that we could put your grandpa in, and then they got a little small area that we could probably start a private little daycare, and we could start our own little community. The average is gonna be like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing that. Even though he got on Dior, even though he got on Amiri.
But I think so. But I think that if they make it through that age limit to like their late 30s and 30s and 40s, they will.
See, you talking about age, bro? I know people.
No. I'm just saying, like, if you think about it though, like a lot of people that don't grow up out of the shit they used to do. A lot of
I know grown ass men right now that's
right. That's what
on Amiri and got on 1,000.
And I know grown men that's not doing that too.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's not an age thing.
No. What I'm saying is this: like sometimes people grow out of those stages. Not everybody's going to do it. You can see it in white people. A lot of white people don't grow out of that crazy.
So go back to what I said and imagine you grew up knowing that you didn't have to put on Amiris, but if you just saved that money, you, your mans, and your other mans and your cousins could buy your community.
Right.
You could buy this block.
You know the 85. Right. This is the example of like what I would use for the 85% that he said, because I would say it's like 75% 10, and then like another 10 and 5. It's like a game. You have all the people that are in the stands. You have more people in the stands than anything. This is the majority of people. Then you got the players on the field, certain unique players, like people that could do certain things, but everybody can't do that shit. That's why everybody ain't playing. Then you have the coaches that can coach them. Those are even more rare. Then you have the owners. Those are even more rare than them. So it's just a bunch of people spectating. And honestly, it's gonna kind of always be like that. It's gonna be a whole bunch of the majority that just follow along with some shit that's just going on. Yeah. So this is kind of how society has always been. It's always been just the rest of these people, and then it's these other motherfuckers, the coaches, the players, the owners. Everybody don't want to be an entrepreneur. Some
Very
people
true.
just want to work jobs.
And then we don't need everybody to be entrepreneurs. But that's the other part about knowing your place. And that's why I say you got to start young. If I grew up and I knew in my mind, like, look, Pops, I've been going to school. You've been right here with me, and school really ain't my thing, and this, that, and the third. But I know for sure I like to fight. And I only, well, you know what? I might need to put him in something that involves him fighting. He
Like
might want to
boxing,
be
yeah.
a cop or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. Something that helping the community and then building another community for the younger generation where they see it as, you know what, I could be using this for something else.
It's
I
more,
could be doing this.
and I agree with that because you know what? It's more about shunning a person for what they do. Like,
What they
okay,
do. Everybody
exactly.
don't have
Like,
to be the doctor.
nobody, yeah, because the janitor is just as important as the person that
The
serves
CEO.
food, and is
Yeah.
he just as important as the person that drive a truck? He just as the person that
Exactly.
everybody is important,
Yeah.
and that's what. See, what we did was we'll diss the person that got a job and go out and sell dope.
Right.
Go back to say what you said. The music that influences our culture.
It's the music.
black culture.
It's the music. But you gotta think. If you check out African history, you listen to their music. Their mutually influence their culture, and that's why they act accordingly to their culture.
Yep.
So that's why, like, we thought it was school that was really teaching us. That's what we thought until we got older. It was a lot of the outside influences that was teaching us. You know
I was
what I'm
about to
saying?
say
Life, and the music. Because sometimes you'll get into your feelings, and then you might listen to Mary J. My Life, and you might be, you know what I'm saying? And it might be just a feeling that you in at that time.
I think music is like money. It kind of like enhances who you already are. So if you already that and you go listen to NBA YoungBoy, you might tweak out.
Yeah, well, that's but see, it's really the kids. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you listen to all that music that done came out within the last 20, we'll just say 20 years, even when I was with the bullshit, right?
What happened to R&B?
It is none around, and think about it. You ain't got none of that. You ain't had none of that. I know since R. Kelly.
What was the real last R&B artist y'all heard?
Oh no, Ari Lennox project was crazy. Y'all ain't heard Ari Lennox project?
That's what I'm saying. Who the hell is even that? See what I'm saying? You just said somebody that we don't, bro. They don't put that out there.
Yeah, see, that's
you gotta think about
something
that
too. Yeah,
yeah. You know, now see, you're an underground person like me, so I'm mainly.
Tell us about
rap.
R&B now, grown.
Like, see, you can tell us about that.
You got the girl from Colombia, but she don't really rep Colombia. She was born in Colombia. On Bel Air, Coco Jones.
Bel Air is the show. That's the show.
That's the Will Smith show, right?
The new Bel Air.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you got Coco Jones. Coco Jones got one of the biggest records on the radio right now.
That song, I think I heard it on TikTok. How it go?
It's just a little simple on the hook. I love that record too. It's a good record, but it's a clean R&B record. I'm thinking who else? Let me think of
Sir from Top Dog hard too. I just recently he's like an R&B artist, like a soul R&B artist. Sir from Top Dog. I gotta,
bro. Since T-Pain came out, you ain't seen no more R&B stars, bro.
Yeah,
like stars.
Probably
it's not R&B stars anymore.
Now, I was about to say, now, given that now Ari Lennox, they're not stars and stuff yet, but I will say they're bringing that back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that soulful. I'm not saying F no dude and this. I want to be in love. I want him to be in love with me. You know, they're bringing that kind of music back and they making that cool again.
Right.
I'm here for it. That's why I said I won't necessarily say R&B is dead. I can agree and say that R&B is nowhere near what it used to be.
And guess what? They could push R&B better than that. So we can hear it, but they don't want to push that.
Are y'all in? Are y'all in South Carolina? Y'all in Houston, Cabo?
South Carolina.
See, y'all ain't on Ari Lennox. She from North Carolina.
Man, that's what I keep trying to tell people. And listen.
I don't think I ever heard of Ari.
See, that goes back to one of these things we was talking about in our hip hop thing, and I was like, the Carolinas should be more connected. And you heard you just named the artist that me and him ain't know because we from South Carolina.
That's crazy.
But that's how the divided we is down here. You see
I
want to
start doing better on that because y'all would be surprised how much people in North Carolina rock with folks in South Carolina.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's just more of like certain people or certain dynamics. It ain't really, and like I said, I don't really research R&B, so I can't say I would have never listened to her. You know what I mean? I don't research it. Like, I don't go looking for it. You know what I'm saying? When I go on my YouTube, I go for certain things that I like to listen to. And even still, like, I went on a at least 10 months without even listening to nothing, bro.
Me too.
Like, I won't listen to no kind of music.
I was on my self-motivational books, and I take time to do like that. Now I'm, like, kind of back into the music.
Yeah.
Y'all know what my movie is? I do my movie Monday. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Who that's about?
Y'all remember that shit?
What year that is?
That's crazy.
What year that is?
This was this old school. See, I seen this when I was younger. Like I think I was like 10 when this shit came out. But The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. See, y'all gotta watch this probably like with your girl or some shit like that. Y'all ain't just gonna sit there.
Stephen King?
I think so. I think it was a Stephen King. Yeah, I think it was.
It was a horror movie?
No, it wasn't a horror movie. It was like it was about a woman that couldn't have children, and then she ended up meeting this family, and she got so obsessed with the. Yeah,
I think I have seen that.
She did some crazy shit like with the baby, but it's just
like
The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Because this is why this again, 80% of divorces end by women filing the divorce, and a wife is the most important aspect. Like that shit is the most important job in the world almost, and the hand rocks the cradle. So it's important that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. I don't know if y'all ever heard that quote, but again, that's why.
Bro, say
no. That's why we need to bring families back together, man. Like,
yeah, like I said, man, it just still started with the men, man. Like,
it started with the men, but I'm telling y'all, I wish I could really expound how I want to, but I'm telling y'all, if we could just raise a younger generation of children who know how to meditate, who are okay with crying when they
that's a
like
good
y'all
one.
understand. Like I tell my son all the time, like go ahead and cry. I tell him all the time, go ahead and cry. Like if you need to cry, if you want to yell, go in the room and scream. You know what I'm saying? Like we be trying to let our children harbor these emotions for years and wonder why they want to go hurt people and shoot people and fight people. And it's because they got all these built up emotions that they ain't never let out.
Right.
And it's like I tell my son all the time, like you just like you were saying with the earth. You don't have my son always. I tell him go outside, take your socks off, put your feet in the dirt. Go outside and get in the sun.
I think all of us should do that. Like,
for real.
Walk out the door like with no shoes on and shit. And then I think that probably help you get back connected because like you're not connected, bro. Like you can see, and then just think about we used to trip. Like I used to trip right off of
like
white people.
Trip?
I'm talking about tripping like I'm off a mountain, like you know what I'm saying. But I used to trip about how the white people would jump up the mountains and go dive in the middle of the ocean and do all that crazy shit, right? And walk around like how they do, but they connected to the planet.
To the earth.
Yeah, and barefooted and all that shit. They would do that shit by with their bare foot. But nobody don't never look at the simple things like that can get you back acclimated to unity in yourself.
So grown, I believe we're gonna start doing like live streams, and again, the purpose is like my thing is for me to just bring some unity, bring back families. So we're gonna have different things where, like you say, the meditation, different outlets for therapy, different outlets for astrology, so people can get an understanding of like who they are, because I'm an astrologist. Like this is another one of my monikers. I'm an astrologist too. So all these different things are just ways to cope with whatever it is that everybody going through. You could tell us, and then you know what's crazy, grown? The crazy thing is I brought you on here to talk about fucking music.
I ain't talking about a damn thing. I was just trying to figure out. I was like, what my man do? Hey, bro, hey, grown. Because he kept saying your name, grown. Hey, listen, grown. This nigga kept saying grown. Like I know who the hell he is. I'm like, Shit, but then when we got to breaking it down, I was like, damn, this is my homie. This nigga is smart. I like this nigga.
I told you, when this shit started, I said me and Cabo end up talking like this and be done look up, man. Y'all boys shut up down there, man.
Hey, but see, I'd rather be like that. I'd rather a person talk about what's really behind them than who they are surface for dwell. Because you know your surface is that. That's what people know you for. You know, for your musical background, this, that, and third. Like I'm talking about, like, you know, people that don't actually physically have conversations.
A lot of people would not have known about half the shit we
right.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't know this.
But see, this is why I tell, like, even with women, right? They be on that Beyonce bullshit, right? I say, go see what Beyonce is. She married.
Right.
Go look at her background.
Rihanna married.
You see how you just told your background like that?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying, bro? Now they understand that you ain't just a producer. You a real educated brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what people don't do. They get caught up in the music, but they don't get caught up in the person that's actually telling them this stuff.
Exactly. But we got time, man. Let's talk about some music, man. We got time to
go ahead. Yeah, let me know about your music. I gotta know now.
Are you in a situation like you got like and then this is the thing too. Like, how do you feel about situations and then like being an engineer? Does that kind of stuff, is that becoming more prevalent? Like people with deals and engineers and that kind of stuff?
Okay, so initially I started in a situation when I first moved out here. And long story short, I opened a studio when I moved to Atlanta. This was in 2017. I graduated Full Sail for music production. Got my degree, moved here, spent every dollar I had. I got an apartment, and then I got a facility, had it built out, studio, booth, everything. And then like 3 weeks later, I got a fucking job at Street Execs. And I just remember initially having a conversation with them folks like, you know, hey, this is kind of what I do. I already done spent all of this money on this other studio, so I can't just say no to it. And I already got other clients coming from South Carolina, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, it worked for a good minute. We did that for a while. I ended up starting to, I met Schoolie, and then I met Travis Porter, and I did projects for both of them. And I did a project for Costa Nostra Kid. And I think after that, like Al and them, you know, the owners at Street was just like, excuse me, the owners at Street was just like, nah, we sold off your mixes. We sold off it. Like, we want you doing all the TRU, you know, the artists, everybody that's coming through, we want you mixing for them. And I was cool with it. Fast forward to like 2018, it's like 2 years, me and the owner, we bump heads, like, yeah, you doing stuff at your studio and coming here and doing stuff at this studio is taken away from the bit, which I completely understand. I told my mans, I said, he was like, man, it's whack. I said, nah, like, you got to understand, that's bosses, a boss and a boss bumping heads. No, I'm not a millionaire boss like you, but I have a boss mindset. And I moved here with a boss mindset. That's why I opened that studio. So we agreed to part ways, but I stayed working for them. But within that situation, like, I learned so much. Like, y'all have no clue. Like, man, just prime example, like, every morning they would have meetings at 10 a.m., right? And I didn't have to come to these shits, but I just found out, like, yo, y'all got meetings, y'all come in, just smoke weed and talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk about this shit that we're gonna see on BET and Revolt and
hold on, bro. So when they say they have meetings about what's gonna go on, you just Street Execs?
Yeah.
They that deep in that shit?
This is a business. This is a multi-million-dollar business. Like,
okay. See, I always thought they were some DJs.
No, explain to him what Street Execs is.
Yeah.
So the owners are DJ Techniques, which, like I said, he used to be a DJ, but now he's 2 Chainz everyday manager.
Like that.
Then you got Jay Wolf, Al Parks, who they founded, like Travis Porter. It used to be Charlie was a white boy that worked there, but Charlie's another multi-millionaire. He's like endorsed by Nike now and like beat cancer, some whole other crazy shit, but he's in his own realm. But like right now to this day, like they still manage Paper Route, they still manage Travis Porter, they still manage Schoolie, they still manage 2 Chainz, who was Dolph, all of them. So like now there's
like
a
that
lot,
Dolph them.
Like
RIP
there's
that, bro.
a lot of shit going on in Street Execs. So that's why I said, like, when I started working there, like I initially wanted to just build clientele with the public because they have an actual public studio.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I just want to get in with, you know, meeting new clients in Atlanta. And then it turned into like, oh, now I'm gonna put you in a room with Dolph. Oh, now I'm gonna put you in a room with Schoolie. Oh, now we trying to build up. This was before Russian Cream and all of that. So I'm gonna put you in a room with Dolph Little Nephew, Glock, and Fizzle. I'm gonna put you in a room with these folks. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a bunch of that. But I go back to the meetings, like we would just like I was so thrilled coming from South Carolina because I always tell people we don't have a blueprint in South Carolina.
Nah, we don't.
And so I was just always thrilled to just see these folks like having these meetings, like we in here smoking weed as private chefs for breakfast, and we got the board out and we looking at video concepts, and we got new music Mondays, and we got DJ Tuesdays, and we got rollout Wednesdays.
You talk about Atlanta though, bro. There's nothing like that in Columbia going on.
Yeah,
bro.
So it was real. So I fast forward to say that to now, even though I'm not fully with them, I still do a lot of mixing, but my initial artist, the first artist I ever worked with, his name's Country, Low Country. He's from the Low Country, from South Carolina. It's like something told me go back to country. You know what I'm saying? Because he was always one of my most innovative artists. I'm talking about very different, very unique. I've known it from the first day I met him. I had a dream. I kid you not. I had a dream that he was doing some like disco. It's crazy. Like I can't even describe to you how it was so crazy. This is why I go back to telling y'all with the astral projecting. Like when I have dreams now, I wake up and write it down so I can remember it. So I called him at like 5 a.m. because we were getting ready to go to Tennessee for something completely different. Call him and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna bring my recording equipment. I'm not gonna play you the music because you're gonna tell me no. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna play you nothing. But just trust me, bring the camera, everything. I mean, we set up the camera. I put the beat on. I'm talking about this nigga rocks out. You know what I'm saying? Like he rocks out. It's a full disco 80s beat, right? This is a rapper now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes.
Wait from Manning?
One time for the crossover.
That's a fucking rapper now. You said
his name Country?
Country. He's from Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. That's where Buck from, down that way.
Esther
and all that stuff.
They know each other.
That's the area. Yeah.
I think they from the
area.
Yeah.
Same area.
Oh, okay.
But like he rocks out, and then he's just like, "You got more?" I'm like, "Bro, we ended up cutting. Brandon and I went in a hotel doing this shit.
Right.
And he cut 6 records and didn't curse in one of them. Didn't curse in one record. Once again, now this is a rapper who he pretty much curses just like anybody else, raps just like anybody else, smoke weed. Man, I'm talking about put this Jerry curl wig on. He got thick, long wigs. Bundled his hair up, put this Jerry curl wig on in this 1980s big ass suit, and just started hitting this. Everybody, can I touch your hair? Can I take a picture with you? And it just turned up. And I said, look, bro, this shit working so good. Just let me manage you. Just let me try. I've never done this before. Just let me incorporate the shit I learned at Street is X and just try it with you. You my first artist. You've always been my guinea. Niggas was like, bro, whatever you want to do, let's do it.
Right.
We turned that shit into a street tour. Started just saying, look, I'm not going to beg people to get on their stage and pay people all of this. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm going to bring a table. I'm going to bring my mic. I'm going to bring my laptop. And I got mad speakers. And we're going to go in the street and we're going to perform this shit. And people are dancing in the street. I kid you not. People are filming. People want to get his merch. We got goddamn papers. We giving out
what did I say?
Gas sticks. That's him on the front with the wig on.
Like that.
Huh? We out there in the streets going crazy, right?
So, bro, where y'all was at in Atlanta?
Man, listen, we've hit Charlotte, Columbia, Charleston, Savannah, Austin, LA, Santa Monica, New York. We've done this tour everywhere. What? When I tell you, this nigga has gained at least 1,000 to 1,500 followers, all kind of listeners. We met that. So I go back to say this situation I'm in now. We meet this guy from the Czech Republic, Mr. Turk. Shout out to Mr. Turk.
I'm talking Turk.
Mr. Multi-fucking millionaire. You know
like
what I'm saying?
That.
Yeah, he's like that. He runs into us in the street. He's like, look, I love what y'all got going on. I really want to be a part of it. I don't want to no money from y'all. I don't want to sign y'all. I don't want to. Just tell me how can I invest in what y'all are doing.
Man, that's crazy you say that. I heard Wiz Khalifa just say the same thing on Drink Champs. He said you don't even need a record label. Only thing you need is an investor. He just said
all
that.
He said. Just don't forget about me when the money comes.
Man,
and that's some real. When I tell you like that last LA trip, y'all boys go eat at Prime. Man, y'all go eat that. I can't even talk like that. Y'all go have. Yeah, I love the records. I send them the music like he just one of them, and he just liked being a part of the culture.
Right, right.
He liked being a part of new music and being on the threshold of something new, and so he added to what we were doing. He was just like, "Yo, like, let's make this a label. Let's make a logo. Let's do this. You need new equipment.
Yeah, because he know what it's gonna do. Yeah. He can see what it's gonna do. That's hey, listen. That's what we need to find them one of them. I need to find that dude. That's why I keep telling this fool. I said, bro, we can't keep staying here, dog. I said, man, we got where you found him at, bro? In LA, right?
Nah, we actually met him in Columbia. It was either Columbia or Charleston. It was on South Carolina.
Damn, why you gonna prove this nigga point? Okay, he won today. He won today.
He's not from there. I think
he won today. I'm sorry, he won today. Capo actually won today. Cause I ain't never met a nigga in Columbia that'll do that for me.
But that's what I'm saying. What's so crazy is it goes back to that dream and the music he was doing. I feel like that music had just kids around. Like he's not cursing. We were out in front of like an ice cream shop.
And it's unique though. That's a unique thing. Like nobody ain't doing that right now.
He got this big ass suit on. He dancing. I got the auto tune going. He in the street going crazy.
Like that.
They loved it. I mean, he loved it and was just like, look, bro, whatever I can do. And same thing, like I said, it's just like, I don't want no money. Like y'all make y'all money. Like, I just want to invest in this. And when it gets big, just return the investment.
Yeah, that's a good, that's what I'm talking about. Because it gives you motivation to do the best that you can to get this to pop.
And it ain't no pressure.
Yeah,
like he did that.
Bigger thing, it's no pressure.
No pressure. You're right. Because Bud and Capo right about that. Because you know a lot of these, and it be somebody look just like us, but put that pressure on you.
Yeah.
And then if you fuck up, then you feel bad. But that man probably he probably gonna write it off.
Exactly. And my thing is like we try to always make sure, like, I wish I could show y'all the screen like now. Like my damn board on this wall is so full for country for the next 6 months.
Like that.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I make sure to let him know, like, you're not wasting your money. Like, if I tell you, okay, we need 3K to do this podcast for this big, I know it's a big podcast. It's gonna get him this views, and then I want to take him to go here, and we're gonna need a rental car, and we're gonna need this.
Bro, look, we got 2 minutes. Look, that's crazy because you said that. One of the biggest things is so difficult, like with dealing with artists, is just trying to I ain't even gonna say just trying to get them to understand that you have to spend the money and put it in certain places, and then the marketing stuff. Bro, I had a conversation with somebody like a couple of months ago. Bro, these people told me they didn't even have money allocated for a marketing budget yet. Bro, how are you doing music and you don't have money for a marketing budget?
Budget's on the board right now. That's what I said. And then that's the other thing. It's not like we just like, oh yeah, give us all the money. It's like, it's more of a like, okay, Mr. Turk, it's looking like we got a $15,000 budget for this next 6 month run that I want to do.
Right.
But we're gonna put up 5. We got 5 to put up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All right, I'll cover the 10.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, what are you gonna do with it? And then, prime example, within that, just the last we did this chocolate. Somebody found Country's page, one of his performances he did in Charleston. They found that, emailed me like, yo, we want to get him to come to this sweet chocolate. It's like an art and paint and sipping vibe. It was like 2,000-3,000 people there. Gave him $3,000.
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Shout out to who that is right there. Shout out to him.
That's my son.
That's what's up. Shout out to him.
Shout out to CJ. But yeah, man, he just wanted. But yeah, Mr. Turk, he comes through, and it's just literally whatever y'all boys need. If y'all can make it make sense, and that's why I said we turn around. We put, I think, about 15,000 all together into the last year. he turned around and made 3,500 of it back in one night.
Grown.
Damn,
Hey,
see, that's
shout
what's
out,
up.
shout out Turk, shout out Wiz, shout out my dog Sosa, in Texas. Hey, where they can find you at, Grown? We got to have you back on.
Grown Mixed It. We definitely got to do this again. But yeah, Grown Mixed It on IG. Chris Grown Mixed It McClellan on Facebook, and Royal Flush on Twitter.
Love. Hey man, I appreciate it, man. I love talking to you, dog.
Y'all be good, man.
Word.
All right. That's what's up.
Like, comment, subscribe. It's another good one. We out this bitch.